What if a single AI caller could reach new markets faster than you can recruit sales reps? I just got off a discovery call, and in this video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek about how we're helping this business build an AI-powered outbound caller that's going to help revolutionize how they scale their sales. Hi, my name is Mark Campbell, founder of Sprinkle Creative. As a tech founder, I was able to build AI SaaS solutions that serve hundreds. And now as an agency owner, we've been able to build AI agents for the likes of Snickers, and we would love to build one for you. If you want to get on a discovery call with me and tell me about your business and how you want to use AI, click the link and get a free discovery call. So today we're just going to go over something we built out for a discovery of a new potential customer. I got a phone call. They wanted to basically help scale their sales. Two businesses are merging, and in the process of merging, they also want to meet customers at a national level. And they're trying to figure out, how do they meet these customers at a national level? They have in themselves, they have their own internal sales team, but they couldn't quite figure out, all right, bring it together. We want to move fast. What is the best solution? And someone had brought up AI, going out and making outbound calls, and whether or not the technology was ready and available. And that's when they hop on the phone call just to tell me about the idea. And this is the process of me helping them vet it out. So once they've gotten through our initial phone call, then what I'll do is create a deck to kind of help them understand what they want to build and the product that we put together. And then we land on basically what they're looking for. And what this customer was looking for was an outbound caller. Let's take a quick look at their funnel. Currently, they're getting all their leads from ZoomInfo. They're getting a bunch of leads there. They're getting local businesses. So they're looking for the customer segment that they're targeting is local businesses for their product. And then where we're going to fit in is we are then going to take their leads, and then we're going to go through the activation process. And then with their sales team that they have ready, their job will then go from working on activating and checking the interest lead to then just doing the closing. So we'll use AI to deal with the activation and creating that warm lead, and then allow their sales team time to just close on sales. And so that's what we're going to be walking through today, and the solution that was proposed to them. So once we kind of establish where we want AI to fit in the funnel, the next step is to kind of tailor it to the product. So they established what they wanted. They wanted this caller agent. And now we got to figure out, what does he do? What's the caller agent's job? So we get into part one, which is the agent itself. The first part of the job is we have a centralized system that all the leads are being in this centralized system. The agent itself is going to be making these phone calls. And the job of the agent making the phone calls is just to see if they're interested and book them in for a sales manager to close. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a flow. We're going to use our application to create a flow. So when the agent gives the prospect a call, their job is to get to the end of the flow where they book the prospect into the call with the sales manager. And so in this part of the process, they need to handle objections. They need to handle getting cut off. They need to handle just the script going completely south. So we'll be keeping track of that information. But here we understand, hey, this is the job of the agent. Do you agree with this job as the agent? And so the job of the agent in this case just going to be to book them into a call. Once we book them into a call, we establish with the prospect what is the best time to reach out to them. And therefore the sales manager, not only does the sales manager have a warm lead, they have a optimal time to call a warm lead. It couldn't make it any easier for them to close when they have an optimal time to get on the phone with the lead and then saying, hey, I called you at the best possible time and you were primed and ready. Now we can have a close. So the sales manager is put in the best situation for a closing opportunity, thanks to the agent going through that flow and getting to the end of it. And so we're going to, again, once we've got them there, the next step is they're getting sent to a centralized dashboard. So the dashboard has been centralized to handle not only where the prospects are in the process, but understand where the bookings are in the process. And not only that, once a prospect is in there, we're going to be able to establish, here's where the lead is the hottest, Here's where the lead gets the coldest. So the sales manager is in there going, hey, make sure I'm grabbing the hot leads before they get cold. And so the dashboard is going to be able to cover, we have a hot lead here, let's cover it now, to maybe this lead has been here a little too long and now it's a cold lead. So I have a gauge as to where I am when I make that phone call. Or maybe I've not been able to reach this person. I've called them 3 or 4 times. The dashboard will be able to tell us if we made other attempts, we haven't been able to get in touch with them. And then the sales manager can kind of have a plan of action as to what to do once that prospect has reached the dashboard and we understand where they are in the process of the phone call and in closing the sale. And again, you're just selling to a warm lead. This isn't, I have to have a team of salespeople who are constantly making phone calls all day, and I don't know how good the phone call is going to be. I know that my sales team has one job to close. And I know from the scenario that my AI agent is running through that the process is going to be the same every time. And so if something goes wrong in the agent process, I can go fix that because it's going to be the same every time they go through the process. Yes, the prospect might vary, their questions or objections might vary, but how we handle them is always going to be consistent. So I got one centralized place to handle where the prospects are going. I have one centralized place to handle the phone call. And then I know on the outside of that, I just have to focus on making sure my sales managers are doing the best job they can at closing. And so this is the product, right? So they came to me and say, hey, we have the idea. And this is where we landed on what the product is ultimately going to be. It's going to hit their sales managers. And again, it makes it more efficient because how many sales managers are you going to actually need when their job is to close? You don't have to have a team of people just going through the opening phone call. You don't have to worry about onboarding new salespeople, make sure they get in the swing of things. The call is the same every time and it's consistent. And the person on the other line, your AI agent on the other line, is going to be ready to handle that call every time. And so this is their application. This is the agent. And we're going to get into the next part where we talk about now that we have the agent and what that is, we're going to talk about learning and how the agent can actually get better over time. All right. So as a engineer, this is probably my favorite part. I love looking at data. I love metrics. And so monitoring is my favorite part of this whole thing. Well, I take that back. Closing the sale is my favorite part. But for my developing brain, monitoring is where I get into the nitty gritty. Because that's where a lot of times you get to see the aha moment. And so for the customer, where they're going to see real transformation is going to be in what we provide in monitoring. And the 3 key areas are going to be call analysis, call metrics, and then your journey map. With the call analysis, we are taking the path that the user goes on, and we get to see where the objections happen, how many users are getting through the objections, and we map out a bottleneck. Again, one of the problems that is happening in this space right now is a bit of a wild, wild west. You do a prompt, you get through it, and you'll say, hey, 12% of our users are getting through, or 8% of our users get through, and you're like, all right, thumbs up, because we have a low response rate to come out the other end. But if we look at volume, let's increase volume to X amount, and then we get 8% of that amount, and then we'll get a lot more closes. Great. That seems like something that should work, and you're just optimizing for this close rate. The problem is, what if you have a bottleneck in the middle that could be holding up another 20%? And the way the landscape is now in voice AI, most people who are building solutions have no way of gauging where your bottlenecks are. And so by having a call path analysis, we can say, hey, yes, we can get this at a certain percentage. Yes, we can increase the flow to get more people out at this percentage. But if there's an opportunity to get better phone calls, this is where we see the opportunity. Let's zoom in on here. So now we're not just being arbitrary. We're not saying let's zoom in on an objection because we have a solution for that objection. We're saying let's zoom in on the best possible location to optimize to get more on the other side. So we can select which objection may be causing the root issue and solve for that objection instead of wasting hours or days trying to solve for an objection that doesn't even register on the scale of where our call analysis is getting held up, right? So call analysis is going to be great for users. And again, it's something that we don't see in a lot of this space today. Getting the call metrics, we can see how audio quality might be affecting it. Maybe certain users are having certain audio quality. Maybe our audio quality needs to be adjusted. So we can see that, and we can look at the metrics in the conversation flow, all that stuff. All these metrics matter. And we can see these things. And then we can see the journey. We can see who's getting stuck where, at what point, and again, optimize for the things that we can optimize for that has the highest rate of return. And with that, it's a unique part of this product that we are able to see and measure how things are happening so that we can improve. And so again, this is probably one of my favorite parts because yes, there's a lot more engineering, is more engineering into it, but ultimately for us to get more sales, we have to understand what's happening. We have to be able to measure and get to the result. And this is optimal way for us to say, hey, here's what's happening. Here's why we get to the result from this. So this is our metric section. This is how we are monitoring our application. And then now we're going to get to our last part, which is the dashboard and how this all comes together. All right, last piece of our puzzle, the dashboard. This is where we bring everything together. And what we're delivering for this customer is a business list. So with them, they got this ZoomInfo to get prospects, but what they already have as well is a database of businesses that they're working with. So what we want to get is a dashboard. We'd have their business list of all the current customers that they're working with. And then they have a booking list where all of the calls that are getting booked. They have an agent call list where it shows the status when the agent's going through it. You have your objection mapping, where we talked about earlier in the analysis, where we can see the objections, but we're also able to go in there to sales managers or anyone for that matter that's an administrator here can go in and say, all right, this is the objection that came up as it's coming up during the phone call. We'll aggregate those objections to a central location to where they can see all these objections, and then, all right, I can fill in some answers, and that will update the knowledge base. And then lastly, they have the call metrics, as we were just talking about. And so all of this is encompassed into the final product. And so they're getting this outbound caller, but if we look at the full picture of this, it's an outbound caller that has a dynamic knowledge base, that has a system for learning and a system for monitoring and getting better. And that whole feedback loop is captured in the dashboard. And in the end, this customer has a product that hopefully delivers on everything that they need. And this is the final discovery call, where after we've gone through the discovery call, I give them this presentation, say, hey, this is the final product. Now that you've seen what a product can look like, how would you like to go from the idea of a product to actually building this thing out? And so hopefully that was help provide you some clarity into some insights as to our onboarding process, how we think about the product, how we try and manage to deliver the best possible outcome for our customers. And if that's something that interests you, click on the link somewhere down here, up here. But click on the link and get on a free discovery call, and let's learn how we can help you implement AI for your business.